What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Dad with a bike here. Figured I'd take this opportunity and talk to you all a little bit about my 2019 Indian Scout bobber. So I bought this bobber, I don't know, maybe a year ago. Well, working on a year. And I traded in an FJ09 for it. And really the primary reason was I was looking to move from sport bikes over to cruisers. I've been kind of working that direction for a while. I went from, Katana, R1, R6, FJ09, and then to this one. And I've kind of had this love affair with Indian for a really long time. Indian's kind of had a lot of turmoil in the business over the years, and recently, since they got picked up by Polaris, the quality of the bikes and everything about the brand has been fantastic. So I was watching them for some time. Really like the Scout platform. I like the weight, I like the size, I like the engine, but I really didn't like the aesthetics of the Scout itself. I mean, they looked decent, but it just really wasn't what I was looking for. So they released the bobber, and I fell in love with the way the bobber looked. I've been stalking the bobber for a couple of years, and I was really just waiting for them to kind of work out all the kinks. And I kind of settled on the 2019, so I said, all right, I'm going to grab the 2019 Indian Scout bobber. Bob's your uncle, and here we are. So I picked this up. I picked it up in its Thunder Black ABS. But right now it's got like 3,500 miles on it, and it's been a great bike. I love this bike. I love the platform, and so I figured what I would at least do is kind of take a moment and give everybody an opportunity to hear my point of view from an owner's perspective, and what I like, what I don't like. Maybe you find it helpful. I don't know. Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll set this up in four different categories. We'll do power, let's do handling, comfort, and aesthetics. So let's talk about power. So the power plant on this thing is awesome. So the bike itself is really light. It's, 550 pounds, but for a cruiser that's light. And it's powered by the V-twin 69 cubic inch, puts out on paper 100 horsepower, and sits right at 72 pound-foot torque. So plenty of power, and a lot there for you to use when you need it. So you grab a hold of a handful of throttle and this thing goes. So it's got plenty of power. And just like with anything else, you're going to do some enhancements to it, of course, right? Or you're going to put your aftermarket stuff on there, as I did. Of course, I swapped out the exhaust. I put Vance & Hines 3-inch slash cuts, and they sound amazing. And then I also opened it up a little bit, and I put the a Trask Performance filter on here, because the airbox and the filter that comes stock chokes the crap out of this bike. I mean, you can't get any power out of it, or you can, but you can feel that it wants more. So swapped out the that intake, and I also added an aftermarket tuner. Actually went a tier 1 tuner, and the primary reason I went with a tier 1 tuner was because I really didn't want to mess with having to constantly jack with fuel maps and whatever else, right? So when I was doing all the research, what's up, dude? When I was doing all the research, the thing that I liked the most about this tuner was, the fact that I didn't need to do a map. And what it does is it comes down, it's plugs in directly to the cylinder heads, and it reads like 30, 50 times a minute, and it's constantly tuning the bike. So depending on your riding conditions, you're constantly getting a new tune. It's been on my bike now for a few months. It's really cool. I like it. I can definitely tell that there's a massive power improvement. The one thing that I have not done yet, which I need to, is take this and actually get it put on the dyno to see what the power actually is, to see what improvement I got. Because if you believe all the marketing material, I should be well over 100 horsepower on this thing now, and darn near 85 pound-foot torque handling. So I went from sport bikes to cruiser, so I was used to a certain level of handling, and I really wanted that when I swung over to cruisers. I know that's an odd thing to want, but I did. And I really haven't been disappointed with the Scout Bobber. The biggest problem with it is it's a little lower than the normal Scout platform. I think it's like an inch or two lower than the normal Scout platform. And the lean angle on it is kind of meh. It's 29-degree lean angle left to right. And, so that's okay. The problem is, though, when you really get out and you're really out riding hard, especially out here in the Texas Hill Country, you're going to scrape pegs. And if you're a guy or a girl who worries about that when you round corners, like it freaks you out, be mindful, because you're going to scrape peg on the bobber. The tires that come with this thing by default are the Kendas. They're chunky tires. They're pretty nice. They do okay. I haven't had any issues with them. I will probably swap them out here before too long at about 5,000 miles, but I haven't settled on what I want instead. So I'm still doing some research on there, so I don't know. So handling wise, let's give it an A- because that lean angle is bothersome to me. A-, yeah, that sounds good. Let's talk about comfort. If you buy this thing stock, D, maybe an F. It is uncomfortable. Getting on this thing and saying I'm gonna go ride for hours isn't a thing. Won't happen. Some people can do it, and I could not. I got on this thing and my butt just hurt like crazy. The seat was horrible. And I think the primary problem is because the bike itself only has the suspension on this thing is kind of small. I mean, it's like 2 inches of suspension in the back, so you feel it. So when the seat is hard, like the stock seat is, that just exacerbates the problem, and everything you feel. So first thing I did was I swapped that sucker out and I replaced it with a Saddlemen Renegade LS solo seat. That was a great buy, because that in of itself I think would have just made the riding experience so much better. But at the same time, I bought 8-inch risers, or an 8-inch handlebars. I probably should have did one and then the other. Should have did the seat and then bought the handlebars, because I think just the seat alone would have solved that problem. So I'm going to switch over to a drag bar from Dean Speed here this coming weekend with 2-inch risers, and we'll see if I like that, because I like the aesthetics of a drag bar. Anyway, so you have forward controls, like your feet are out in front, and in general that's a comfortable riding position as long as you can fix the seat and you're good with the handlebars. So now where I'm at on this bike from a riding position perspective, I can ride this thing all day, no problem. Gas tank won't let you, because it's only got a like a 3.2 gallon gas tank. But aside from that, I could ride this thing all day. So let's talk about aesthetics. I love the look of this bike. The aesthetics is amazing. I'll pull up here and I'll give it a walk around so y'all can kind of see what the bike looks like. But this is a beautiful bike. The color is amazing. The styling is great. It's got that slam, muscular look to it. And I get a lot of comments from people on the bike. In traffic, I'll pull up, people will be like, oh, nice bike, man. At bike nights or at car shows, people do comment on the bike. You don't see a lot of people out riding around on an Indian Scout Bobber these days. It's, just an oddity. So when people see them, it kind of does catch their eye. So from, the front cowl to the clipped rear fender, to the riding position, it all just looks fantastic. So aesthetically pleasing, man. It gets an A+. Plus, coming out of the dealership, you get bar and mirrors, so you're not going to go and buy new ones and replace your mirrors. They're already on there, so that's fantastic. So yeah, aesthetically, man, I'll give this thing an A+. So all in all, this bike as a platform, like out of the gate, you're probably looking at a solid, B+, A- bike. Once you fix the comfort situation, it is a excellent A+ bike. So I pulled off up here on one of these roads. Give the bike a walk around, let everybody kind of see it. The heck is that? Hitchhiker. Anyway, so this is what she looks like. It's a, it's a beautiful looking bike. I really love it. Really love the way it looks. Love the riding style of it. I love everything. I can't complain now that I got the comfort thing fixed. But that's what she looks like. Slams, got the cowl in the front, and so it's a fantastic bike. And so what you can see here is it's not a long bike, it's pretty short, so it's really agile in the corners. But yeah, so Vance Hines exhaust. I do have a little solo rack on the back because I do a little bit of errands on it, so I throw stuff on there so I'm not carrying stuff on my back. Chunky tires. That headlight cowl is awesome. I did take off the Indian block letters, and I did put a little war bonnet on there that I had custom made. But yeah, this is her. Love this bike. So anyway, if you found this helpful and you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And if there's any comments or anything, leave them below and let me know if there's anything I can do to make this better. And if you like this content, would like to see more, hit subscribe. I'll be doing this more frequently. I'll be doing some gear reviews and a few other things and going out on some rides. So I appreciate it, and until next time, see you later.